Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures podcast. This is episode 301. I am your host, Sean Hayes. and we're here to bring you the latest and greatest gaming news of the past week. I had a moment where I wanted to go straight into introducing co-hosts. Because of our episode last week and had a bit of a brain fart. I apologize for that. I apologize for a little bit of the audio quality in last week's episode. Unfortunately, I don't have a multi-mic setup in my office. So we had to do like a sort of 360 setting to just capture audio from the whole room. Because normally in the past, when I worked with, Josh and Courtney on this, we were doing a Discord call, so I didn't have to have a multi-mic setup. That is, it would be pie in the sky, wildest dreams, but that would require like a mixer. I already have mic. I have XLR mics from when we did Tales of Jamora, but yeah, the money's not there right now to get a mixer and get all that stuff set up. And I'd have to have like a way to get the mixer imported into digital audio. But long-term goal, just we got to get money. We're kind of paycheck to paycheck right now. So getting big equipment like that is not in the cards. So but anyway, thanks for listening. We've got a couple interesting news items this week. And kind of a big one that should surprise no one. So hope everyone is having a great start to their summer. So let's get right into our news topics so that we can start enjoying all that great summer weather. First up, Polygon reports that Dungeons & Dragons is having another unlikely crossover event, this time with Destiny 2. Yeah, this has been weird. If you had told me that Dungeons & Dragons was going to have crossover events with video games, Dead by Daylight and Destiny 2 would not have been the ones on my list to do crossover events with. I figured, like Final Fantasy 14 maybe, or Monster Hunter, like RPGs. I don't know, even World of Warcraft sounds like it would be better suited, but like, I mean, sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. So here's what the crossover event is gonna do. There's gonna be D&D themed armor sets, and D&D themed ships for your character. So for the live viewers, you can see it in the thumbnail here. So there is a draconic armor set as well as a draconic ship. There is a mind flayer armor set as well as a beholder ship, and a displacer beast armor set and an owlbear ship. So those will be available. Yeah, just I don't know, weird crossover type stuff. D&D did have a crossover thing with Minecraft, which I think really works. That was a couple years ago. Like, I think that's great. Stuff like that. Or like any sort of survival or RPG game, or even an action game, I think could work. Yeah, I really want to. I would love a Dungeons and Dragons Monster Hunter crossover event, and to just put big D&D. It doesn't even have to be the like big monsters, but like throwing a displacer beast or a beholder or something in there. I think would be really great. And I think there's a lot of D&D monsters that lend themselves well to Monster Hunter. So yeah, Wizards, call Capcom, make it happen, and do it for Rise. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to like download Iceborne, and play through Iceborne to get to this stuff. Just because I mean, Monster Hunter World did crossovers with Final Fantasy and Witcher, and those felt really good. Like they were really cool, kind of crossover things. Like Behemoth is still a really interesting fight to do in World. And Ancient Leshen, I think, fits really well thematically. So yeah, I I love crossover stuff. I think this is great. I just think it's weird. I I think the two of Vecna being in Dead by Daylight, because I mean, like you could have done like I guess because Vecna they want to promote the new book, but like I don't know, like Lord Soth or Strahd or like somebody that's been in Ravenloft, I feel like makes a lot more sense to do. Or Sarevok, even. Like if you're gonna like bring it back to Baldur's Gate 3, do like like Sarevok or something like that, or just a straight up Mind Flayer. Like I think Mind Flayers are terrifying enough. You don't even have to pick like a unique one. So, but yeah, so Destiny 2 and Dungeons and Dragons. Next up, so Sony had a state of play presentation, based on granted, reactions to these things are always not great, but it seemed to be even less exciting than usual, based on reactions to it. Seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of actual PlayStation exclusives, and a lot of the things mentioned were either former PS exclusives coming to Steam, or just stuff that is being released multi-platform, as is the case of Monster Hunter Wilds, and similar games. So, so on that note, it was also announced that God of War Ragnarok will be released on Steam, is coming to Steam, but will require an active PSN account and for you to log into it to play this game. This is, for those keeping score, the issue that they ended up having with Helldivers 2 and what caused Helldivers 2 to get review bombed on Steam. That one, you could argue makes more sense because it's an online multiplayer game. This one's a single player experience, so I don't like Sony. It feels like Sony. I don't know. Like it's put out that like as far as like between Xbox and Sony, like they quote unquote won the console war for this generation. Like they're certainly console wise doing way better than Microsoft is with the Xbox. But decision wise, there's just some weird stuff going on. It feels like they're going in the opposite direction of Microsoft, where Microsoft is like, maybe we'll pull away from focusing on consoles and just like focus on getting our products on every platform. And Sony's like, yeah, maybe we'll put stuff on every platform, but like we're going to force you to go through the PlayStation ecosystem in order to do that. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is going to bode well. I don't know if I foresee this game doing as well as prior titles did, that were released to Steam. Cuz like, for me, stuff being released on Steam was like how I was able to play Horizon. And it was great. If you're going to require me to have a PSN account, then I'm not going to buy these games. I'm not going to do it. Like I don't have a PlayStation. I'm not going to bother. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know what Sony's doing, folks. But it seems like a bad decision. And I don't know if there's gonna, because it's like a re-release basically. I don't know if there's gonna be the pressure like there was with Helldivers, especially even from the development team, uh, to push back and remove that requirement. Um, so I don't know. I think that's gonna hurt this game's sales on Steam. Because it's basically then your market is people who already have a PlayStation. But if they already have a PlayStation, they would have already played this game. So why would they then rebuy it on PC? I don't know. So it's weird. Next up, Lego and Nintendo, uh, and how I described it on Facebook when I posted this story, have the sheer audacity of releasing the first Legend of Zelda. Everybody was waiting for a Legend of Zelda Lego set, and it's being released. It is it's sort of like a collector set, more in lines with Lego ideas than like the Mario sets. So this is geared much more towards like older collectors than like younger kids. But it is a 2-in-1 Deku Tree set. So one of them is the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree that comes with, little Child Link and Ocarina of Time Link minifigs. And then the other part is a Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom Deku Tree set with Link and Zelda. The audacity to force you to pick one to build. Or to buy two. Which I don't see people doing, because this set will be priced at $300. And it contains over 2,000 pieces. I looked it up, but I don't have the actual piece total on hand right now. So I can't remember. I think it's somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 pieces. So it's a big hefty set. But it's so great. And I mean, I wish Lego would just sell like the minifigs alone. I don't know. Like, I can tell you right now, the like Link and Zelda minifigs would absolutely sell like gangbusters. And I had wished that they gave the Mario Legos this treatment, or Lego sets this treatment, instead of like building a like Mario figurine out of bricks and having the weird little electronic components to it. I would have rather they just had little minifigs. But yeah, these sets are gorgeous. I again, the money's not there to get it, but I really wish it was. So yeah, if you have the money to do so and you're a big Zelda fan, I think it would behoove yourself to go pick this up. Next up, probably our big story of the week, Pixelborn. So Lorcana fans, you've probably heard of Pixelborn. It was an unofficial free client that was developed by like a single person. Seems like I don't quite know if it was developed specifically with Lorcana in mind, or if it was developed to just do digital card games, and then like there was a client adapted for Lorcana. But Pixelborn got really big during sort of the first chapter stockouts. So it gave people a way to play the game. It again, completely free client that like you just had access to all the like once all the cards in a set were revealed. The mechanics of those cards were all updated into Pixelborn. It seems like they were hoping to get around any copyright issues by not including any imagery. So it would just be like blank cards that had the text on them. Sort of. I don't I don't know if it had any references in like even the name or whatever. And somehow got around that with mechanics and stuff. And that it would require users to go find those images, and then upload them into the game files directly, like into the game folders directly, in order to put those images into the game. It was done with sort of a wink and a nod. I mean, there were links to drive folders like in their Discord server. But the main reason why I'm introducing this and talking about this is they got a cease and desist from Disney. So it seems like the current consensus is, now that all the inventory issues for the game have kind of been resolved and the game has found its footing and has had like its first big championships and everything, that now Disney felt comfortable of sort of swinging the banhammer down on Pixelborn, since the game has got momentum now. That said, I mean, I knew from the get-go this client was living on borrowed time. Like the moment you do it, and there was a Patreon. It was completely voluntary. To like, you didn't have to join the Patreon. Like, you didn't have to, give them money in order to do anything with this client. So, like, it was optional. People are thinking, oh, it's because they had a Patreon, that's why they got a cease and desist. No. Copyright does not care if you make any money off of your project. It's the moment that you basically create the work, it then is determined if you infringe on copyrights. Like, whether you make any money or not doesn't matter. What might matter is if the copyright holders take notice of it. But with how big this client was, I can get Disney knew about it. So, it's largely Pixelborn community pretty upset. It is shutting down on June 16th. And people are hoping that Ravensburger or Disney will create, a client to replace it. I don't know how likely that is. Ravensburger has said previously that they have no interest in doing a digital client. And it's been pointed out on Reddit. And 2 points that I agree with. We don't know the terms of their license. They may not have a license to do a digital client. Because remember, like, Disney isn't making this game. Disney is providing a license for their characters to Ravensburger to make the game. And so, like, if the creator of the game doesn't have any interest or may not have a license to create a digital client, that means in order to create a digital client, Disney would either have to revise the license, again, hypothetically, or then work out a licensing agreement back with Ravensburger for the game to then provide that to a third party to create a digital client. It gets messy. And here's the thing. It's not going to be like, I think people want a Pixelborn replacement. You're not going to get a Pixelborn replacement, like an official one. You would likely get something like Magic Arena or Hearthstone, where it would be free, quote unquote, free to play. But then like packs, like you would be able to buy packs or in-game currency with money to get your cards, and you would have to grind out getting packs and stuff. There you would not have access to the entire library for free. Like, that's not going to happen. So, yeah. Pixelborn, not dead yet, but 2 weeks. So, finally, a bit of good news. So, GamesIndustry.biz reports that workers at ZeniMax Studios are now legally covered under Microsoft's labor neutrality agreement with the Communication Workers of America. So, ZeniMax Studios does have a union for its QA workers, but basically with a bunch of studio closures that were part of the big mass round of layoffs at Microsoft. So this allows, other departments at ZeniMax Studios to then unionize without any potential interference from management. So, I don't know if other departments would be able to join. Like, I don't know if ZeniMax Workers United only covers QA, or if it allows anybody at the company who is capable of joining a union to join that union. But this is good news. I mean, this is one thing that Microsoft does right, is a labor neutrality agreement. That was one of the things that was big news for Activision Blizzard getting bought and brought under the Microsoft umbrella. So, yeah, this is great news for all the workers at ZeniMax. And hopefully the industry continues to take notice and keeps moving towards unionization for their workers. Because, if the video game industry, like, it has a lot of parallels to how Hollywood works, and like the film industry. The difference is the film industry is like almost entirely union. And that seems to work just fine. So for all the naysayers who think unionization would just hurt game development, doesn't seem to really hurt Hollywood all that much. So, all right. That is going to wrap up our news for this week. Thank you all for listening. If you would like to catch more content from 8-Bit Adventures, you can check out our website at 8bitadventures.com. Just make sure to use the number 8. If you would like to help support that content, you can become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Patrons can get benefits for as little as $1 a month. And I'm still working on revising the patron reward structure, so going to have a lot more tiers, a lot more benefits for that. I'm on paternity leave right now, so like my time has been limited to do a lot of like outside projects and things. But it is still kind of in the works. So big shout out and thank you to all of my current patrons. Thank you for your continued support. And lastly, our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy. You can find his stuff over at professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And with that, that's it for this week. So as always, have fun, happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.